Getting some things done in the shop today. We're gonna get the hardware put on these and get these mounted to the frame so that these can get out of the shop and done. So the hinges I'm using are soft close and soft open. Really nice hinges. Got them on Amazon here. So when you open, you know, they snap. When you close, both motions are soft. They're really nice little hinges here. I built this lady a breakfast table, like a serving table, serving cabinet, using these same hinges. So she's now gonna have her serving cabinet that matches her dining table, and then she's gonna have these cabinet doors that are on some built-in shelving next to her fireplace in the living room. So her living room and dining room is all one big open room and open concept, so everything is gonna match all the way throughout. All of her furniture is gonna match. So let's get these guys flipped to their backside, and I need to get the holes for these. So these are called European style hinges, and they're actually mortised into the cabinet itself, into the cabinet door. So I'm gonna get these mortised into the cabinet doors, and then we'll get them mounted on the frames so that when I show up to her house, you know, all I have to do is mount the frames to the framing inside of her custom cabinets that she has built, her custom shelving that she has built. So that's going to be really nice on her part, not having me in her house for, you know, an hour while I'm doing all of this work. All this is already going to be done. I'm just fastening them up and getting out of her house. So let's get this knocked out. Ignore my air hose up here. I got the compressor that runs out in the garage now, which is really nice. And I ran my air hose through the wall, so that way you don't have to hear all the noise in here, and you also don't have to take up any floor space in here. Everything's out there in the garage running. But I need to get some kind of a hose that's on a reel that you can just retract the reel, and that reel will be mounted to the wall right there instead of all of this hanging on a hook. And I've got a wireless controller right here that runs to the plug that the compressor's hooked up to, so I can turn the compressor on and off from inside here. Mrs. Hello, welcome in, welcome in. Finishing up these cabinet doors so I can get on to some Christmas project videos this afternoon. So let's see, let's mark where we're gonna put our hinges. We don't want them too close together because I don't want there to be a pivot point when you go to open the door. That'll cause these to come loose. After a while, it'll cause the screws to, you know, have a lot of torque pulling on them. But I also don't want to go all the way up in the corner. So we're going to come in just a few inches on either side and put these at the same distance from each end. So let's go, what looks nice? Let's say 4 inches in. We'll do 4 inches from either end. What up, Mainly? What are you doing, brother? Alright, so we're pulling in 4 inches from either side. I'm using a Kreg jig to mortise out our holes. There's a number of ways you can do this. You know, essentially you can just use a bit and just hand drill them and mark your distances for each. The cool thing about the Kreg jig, it's adjustable, so no matter what size rails you have, you can use this for different widths. I've already got it set up for these because I made another cabinet for the lady using the same style cabinet doors. So these are gonna match hers. So it's already set. We just need to clamp it on here. So find center here. Right there. And then when I clamp this, I've got a lip on my table. So I'm also going to clamp the jig to the table. It's going to clamp the door to the table. Everything's going to be fixed. Nothing's going to move. Pretty cool setup. So let's get this all clamped up. Right like that. Chase, welcome in, brother. Welcome in. What's everybody up to today? Like my new air hose setup. I've got the compressor out in the garage, and I ran my air hose through the wall, so that way I don't have to listen to the compressor running. And then I've got a wireless remote here that you can turn the plug to the compressor on and off from inside the room. Pretty cool stuff. 25 inches on your beard, dude. It's getting there. It's getting up there. See if Mrs. should shave today. Still 36. I think that's the same as what she had last week. So she must be trimming. Let's drill these in and get our hardware installed. So this jig's pretty cool. You just set it up on your bit here. Get your bit attached to the chuck. And then it's got a stop collar on here, so it stops it right at the depth that you need. Right like that. And then you just disconnect your drill. Pull it off. Disconnect the jig. And then you've got your hole for your cabinet hardware. I need to order more drawer pulls for this lady. I thought I had enough left over. It's a good length. 36 inches is a good length. That's like past belly button. You know, for you, 36 inches, that's pretty much to the floor. So as long as you keep it in a ponytail or something so you're not like stepping on it when you walk. Get this other one lined up here. Right like that. Get this side clamped. And as long as you're not stepping on that thing, you know. Jig's awesome. The last time that I made cabinet doors, I had 7 doors to make. So it was really nice just being able to clamp this thing on and like crank all those out in a series. Then you're not sitting there fighting with a Forstner bit trying to hand drill them. You don't have to sit and like mark out perfect spacing on every single one. Definitely worth the, what'd I pay for this guy? Like 40 bucks, I think, maybe. 35, 40 bucks. Oh. Mainly, if you're in here, brother, give me just 1 second. Started up a Discord that I'm trying to get everybody in. I know Chase is in there. Robert's in there hanging out. I've got brother David's in there hanging out. But follow that link right there. That's going to take you to the Discord. I've got all sorts of different tabs laid out in there for everybody to hang out and kind of show off what they're doing, or, you know, ask questions, ask advice, different things like that. And then I've also got a live chat section where people can go in, they can share their screen, you know, kind of hang out in there. And if you're streaming on YouTube, if you want to have a hangout, there's a stream tab so that people know that you're live anytime you're in that stream tab, and everybody can hang out and, you know, converse with each other and have a live stream with it. So, pretty cool stuff that's going to be going on. What's up, Johnny? How you doing, brother? Guys, if you're not following Johnny, go follow him. He makes some amazing looking rings. I need to get a ring off of him. Once I figure out what color I want, Johnny, I'm gonna get a hold of you, bud. Those rings are super cool. Let's see, which side do we want our inside to be on this one? Always pay attention. You know, these are made out of wood. Nothing's perfect. You can get them as close to perfect as you can. But I see, you know, I've got a little knot on this side that you can hardly even see, but I'm going to stick it on the hinge side so when you open the cabinet door, you won't see that knot right there on the side closest to you. It'll be way back with the hinges. Yeah, once I get some things knocked out, man, I'd love to order a ring from you. That'd be really cool. I got a few different things lined up, trying to help support everybody, you know, as much as we can. We're starting a new business right now, so everything's just kind of tight. All right, we got 4 inches in from the end, the same as the other side. Let's go ahead and get this one drilled, and then we're gonna figure out our orientation on our frames there. Again, using this Craig jig for mortising these European style hinges. Just make sure everything's flush, and then you can clamp it down to your piece, make sure nothing's going anywhere. Attach your drill. And then have it. Unattach your drill. Unclamp your jig, dust everything off, and you're ready to attach your hinge. Super simple. About the easiest way I've found to do it. Get this one lined up with our mark here. Right, like that. Get our clamp on. Right like that. Attach our drill. Going to be kind of a short stream. This shouldn't take very long. I'm going to do these, and then I'm also going to get my stool set up, because I got a stool so that I can sit here at the work table and hang out while I have a live stream, not just have to run whenever I get bored or, you know, don't have anything to work on. chips out of there. So it's nice and clean when we put it away. Clean up our mess. Always keep everything as nice and neat as you can when you're working on stuff for people. That way you don't have, you know, weird little scuffs and things like that. If you leave a lot of sawdust everywhere, that stuff can really stick into your paint and stick into your finish as you're finalizing all your products. Get this stuff put away, we'll get our hinges put on, and then we'll get our frames. Where's my screwdriver? All the way over there, huh? Oh. Where's my screwdriver? What happened to the other end of my screwdriver? Somebody been messing with my screwdriver. Don't know who it was. Get our screws laid out here. These hinges I get from Amazon, and they're really nice. They're like a fourth of the price of what you're gonna pay at Lowe's or Home Depot. And they're just as nice, if not better than what they carry. Believe it or not. Saves you a lot of money and keeps those places from getting too big, too hot in their britches. Losing things, it ain't me losing things. I know who it is losing things. It's one of two people. And neither one of those people are me. I bet your mom came out here and borrowed it and it just gets up and walks up. I'm gonna put these screws in with a screwdriver here so I don't have to worry about them stripping out. These hinges are adjustable on 3 axes. You've got X, Y, and Z. We'll call it Z. I don't know what depth is. We'll call it Z. So you can adjust them, you know, once you get your cabinets on, once you get your doors on the frame, you can adjust them up. You can adjust them horizontally. But you can also adjust the top and the bottom separately so that if it's setting too far in or too far out, or if you have a corner sticking out, you can adjust those to where when you close it, it'll set nice and flush up against your frame. Really, really nice stuff. Really nice stuff. Sure we're nice and square there. Get our screw put in. Hold on, I got something in my shoe. Pretty sure it's a foot. I got a whole bunch of stuff in my shoe. Might be a lot of toes. one was alright. I give that one like a 5. I'll give that one a 5. Need to figure out some more fun commands to put in here. If anybody in here isn't subscribed, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you subscribe so that we can see that number keep going up. It goes up pretty much every stream that I have. That was not a very good one. I give that one a 5. I give that one a 5. That's probably being generous. Alright, so let's see how we can do this here and keep it nice and neat. So we've got our frame that's gonna sit this way when it's closed. Okay. Grab one of our frames here. We should be able to just do something like that, right? Something like that. What do you think? Looks right to me. So we got 5 3/4 to the end of that hinge. What do we got here? A little bit more, so we'll move it down. We'll go to 6 inches. What do we got on this guy? 6 inches, look at that. God damn, it's like I know what I'm doing. Crazy how that works. Looks good, that's what I thought. I agree. Let's put some screws in it. Let's get some screws in it. I might have to use my drill for these. These ones are going to be a pain. So let's go. Let's get lined back up here again. Still got 6. Right on the money. Sink a screw in there. Like that. Get a second screw in there and then we'll get the other side. Squeeze over here and get this other side real quick. Let you stare at the back of my head for a second. And these hinges are adjustable. I'm going to wait to adjust them until I actually get them on her cabinets because, you know, depending on what the framing is doing for her built-in cabinets that she's got, I didn't build them, so I can't guarantee that everything is plumb and level. So when we fasten these frames on, they might actually, you know, twist out of whack just a little bit. But the cool thing about that is that'll allow me to adjust my hinges there on the site when I install the cabinet doors. So there is a shaker style cabinet door mounted on a cabinet door frame. We've got the hinges installed already, so we don't have to do that at the client's house. And when we show up, I'll be able to just put a few cabinet screws in this face frame here to attach everything. That way I know nothing's ever gonna move. I'll just stick those screws in there. I'll put a little Bondo over the hole. I'll touch it up with the same paint that we used for the face frame. Everything will be nice and clean. It'll take me about 15 minutes and I'll be in and out of her house. Let's see, where can we'll just stick this here for now. Now let's get this side done. And this will be the last one for this job. I know she'll be excited. I just spoke with her yesterday to let her know that I was finishing up everything with them, and we'll be set on Wednesday to go install. So excited for that, excited to get paid. What's everybody working on today? We all got projects going, or you at work, hanging out at the house? What's everybody doing today? Going back and watching all of my videos in series. That'll knock out a few hours of your day. Kind of just starting out the journey here on YouTube. I've been doing this work for a long time now. Really ramping up the professionality of everything. I've been streaming for about 5 or 6 years on Twitch, periodically. Kind of slowed down on that here recently. But when I started up the woodworking business, it seemed like a great time to get into YouTube. So that way I can teach other people what I'm doing, and I can also leave videos behind for my kids, so that God forbid if anything ever happens to me and they don't know how to do something in their home, or they don't know how to do something with a business, this will teach them everything that they need to know in the future. All these videos should be here forever. Don't see YouTube going anywhere anytime soon. Working at the moment. This evening may turn a 10. Sweet. I'll try and tune into that. I'd like to see that. I just picked up a wood lathe yesterday. I got a 14-inch by 40-inch wood lathe, so that the majority of my business is actually large furniture pieces. So I picked up that 40-inch wood lathe to be able to turn my own table legs, you know, coffee table legs, cabinet legs, things of that nature. It just kind of expands, you know, the availability of what you can create. And then that way also, if a client approaches me and says, hey, you know, I've got this chair, it's got a busted leg on it, I've got this table, it's got a leg that's cracked, you can also duplicate what they have with a lathe as well. So really just expands what the business can do and what we're capable of. But I'm excited to do some streams making some custom table legs. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot to learn. I haven't used a wood lathe in probably 20 years. And the stuff I did on it before isn't anything that I would sell to anybody. So really excited to get rolling with that and see how that works out. But shouldn't be too bad. I think working on the bigger pieces is actually going to be easier than some of the smaller intricate stuff that I see a lot of people making on here. Yep, like and sub, listen to Nightbot. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I want to see that number going way, way, way up. Let me grab the frame. Let's get the frame put on this one, and this one will be finished. Let's see, which side of this one do we like? So this needs to be the back side. And I want that side facing the hinges, so we're going to go right like that. We measured 6 inches on the other one. Let's see how accurate we were when we built these doors. See if everything actually aligns correctly and both of these are identical. Looks like 6 inch on the dot for both. Hot dog! Sometimes I'm good, sometimes it goes a little sideways and gets a little wonky. But it's working out this time. Let's get this hinge put on here. I should have provided you guys with a link to these hinges, but if you go on Amazon and you just search 10 pack of soft close hinges. These are European style hinges. And they're really, really nice, fully adjustable after you get them installed. So even if something isn't perfect, you can make it perfect with the adjustment screws that are on here. Let me get this other side. Give me 1 second. Enjoy the view of the back of my head here. There we go. All right, that's door number 2. That stood up, take a look at that guy. There's door number 2, exactly the same as door number 1. Man, those are nice. I love those, the soft close on them. Like the other one, we're gonna wait to adjust the hinges until I actually get them put on their built-in cabinets. That way, in case the framework is out anywhere on either side, and pulls our face frame out of whack a little bit, because right now you can see everything aligns, you know, perfectly, but I'll be able to go through and adjust this any way that I need after we get them installed. Going ahead and putting the hinges on it now and installing it to this face frame means that when I show up to her house, all I have to do is mount this frame onto the framework that's already installed, and I'm in and out of there in 15 minutes. She doesn't have to look at my ugly mug too long, and we're on about our day. Got a new suit recently made entirely of living plants. I wasn't sure at first, but it's grown on me. Mrs., I think you would find a way to kill that suit. I think you would find a way to kill that suit. I think that green suit would be a brown suit. Let's get all cleaned up here. I got another thing that I want to do on the stream. Get all this dust out of our way here. Keep everything nice and neat, nice and clean. Get this right there, and let's get this right here. So this is a stool that I picked up at Goodwill for $3. It's got a metal frame that you can fold up so that I can just fold it up and tuck it back in a corner somewhere when I'm not using it. However, you can see it's got some pretty bad stains on it. You can tell it's been used, it's been loved for a while. So I also picked up this pleather here. It's kind of a brown woven pattern. And I'm going to cut a piece of this pleather and stretch it over this. Just use the existing foam that's in here because the foam's still in pretty good shape. It's not all smashed down and condensed and everything. So let's get this piece cut. We'll get our stapler hooked up, and then I'm just gonna stretch this right over the top of the existing, staple it underneath, and then reattach our frame for the stool. And it'll be like a brand new stool. You'll never even know. You'll never even know. So let's see here. I want to kind of double this up because it's really, really thin. And I think if I double it up, it's gonna give me a little more strength on this material. And I'm a big boy, so you kind of need all the strength you can get, right? So let's see, if we come right there and right there, what happens if we just fold this thing into thirds? Is it the right length? So we need, I need somebody in here that knows what they're doing. So they can be like, dude, you're doing it all wrong. So if we go like this and like that, does that get us what we need here? Almost. Let's see, we need to come a little more here, like that, and a little more this way, like that. We can triple up this fabric. Let's see if that'll work. Does that give me enough to get around this side and staple? So I can do it 3 layers deep? Can we do that? I think we can. Because we gotta do that to get that on there anyways. Let's do that. Let's triple this sucker up here. When we get the staple gun, get the staples that I just bought for this particular project, and we'll get our stool made and see how that works out. I'm now an upholsterer on top of everything else. Where'd I put my staples? What's this thing have in it? Do we know? I think those are too long. I don't want to sit on staples. Yeah, those are a hair too long. Let me find the other staples that I just bought. I will be right back. There. you guys are enjoying the music here, you can type in !music and it'll bring up a playlist. This is all music that I have created using software called Suno. It's an AI software. And if you need something that's nice and easy, nice and light to listen to in the shop, I'm gonna be making new songs pretty much every week so that I can use them in my videos. And they are DMCA free since I created them myself. Since I made them myself. Words. Alright, we've now got 1,000,000 staples loaded up in our staple gun that I'm going to sink every single one of them into this thing and make sure it doesn't just rip apart. Okay, so let's go. Let's see, we're nice and even everywhere, right? I am not an upholsterer, so we're gonna see how this works out. I'm going to attach my 4 short ends first, and that should allow me to fold and tighten up all of my corners and just kind of work my way from point to point, right? Makes sense in my head. Let's roll with that. So let's go. Let's put some pressure on that. Kind of bend that over a little bit. Not too much because we don't want our foam to be flat. We'll do something like that. Something like that. And we'll come over to this side and do the same thing on this side. Make sure we got the same distance so our seat isn't all lopsided. Put a staple on this side. Right like that. And then we need to do these opposite ends here. Let's check these guys out. We'll go right like that. And then let's do this end. Yeah, look at that. Then you can kind of see what we're going to have there when we're all finished up here. So if we, let's see here. If we fold this over, I'm trying to be as nice and neat as I can because I want this to really look nice when I'm finished. So if we do something like that. What's that look like? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the way to do it right there. That's the way to do it right there. I'm gonna staple this down. Let's see, where's the edge of our... Okay. Staple this down. Do the same for all 4 of these corners, right? So then we'll have 8 corners pulled in, and then we'll get these little bits here straightened out and hit all 16 of those. So now I got to figure out how I just did that one. I came in here like this, and then we left a little space, like a little 1-inch space. Right? Right like that, right? How's that look compared to the other side? God dang! It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Awesome. And then we can pull this tight to stretch it. Right like that. And we'll go step. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that sucker really holds in there. BK, how you doing? Gotta get back to work. Peace. Heard that, Johnny. Go get your stuff done. BK, we're in here upholstering today. Something that I've never done, but I needed a shop stool to sit on while I'm working, and I picked up this shop stool at Goodwill for $3. So we're just kind of fixing it up here with this faux leather that I'm putting on top, and using my crown stapler to fasten this fabric that I bought. Not sure if a crown stapler is the right tool, but I've seen, you know, upholsterers use staples, so I figure whatever kind of staple they use, this has to be close enough. Alright, so there's those. So let's kind of tighten up these angles here. Make sure that all of this is fastened down nice and tight. Yeah, a lot of fun, right? I could have just bought a stool, you know, I could have sucked it up and shelled out the $40 or so to just purchase one, but I thought this would be a fun learning experience. I've never upholstered anything in my life before, so this looked like a fun little project to learn how to do that. So now we're getting all these little corners tucked in nice and neat here. Probably a little overkill on the 75 staples. Hey, what's up, Ray? How are you today? We're working on some upholstery today in the shop. I know it's a woodworking channel, but this has wood down inside all of this, believe it or not. So we're gonna call it woodworking today. I needed a shop stool, and I'm cheap. Didn't want to shell out the $40 for a nice leather shop stool, which is going to be fake leather anyway. So I went and picked up this stool from Goodwill, picked up my own pleather here, and we're making ourselves a stool. Just make sure all these are nice and tight. Really stretch it down here, in my opinion, is what needs to be done. Knock everything off your workbench so you don't have to clean it later, right? There. Fix that problem. I've got 3 more edges here to fasten down, and then we'll be able to put our frame back on. Made a back seat for a regular 4-wheeler this summer. That's awesome, so you know exactly what I'm doing here. Can't hear anything, don't have speakers on the laptop. Ray, you gotta get you some earbuds right like that. These earbuds are Bluetooth, so I can hear everything that goes on with my computer while I'm over here messing with everything else. Oh. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I have always been the type, I grew up without a dad. My father passed away when I was 6 years old. Grew up without a father, so I've just kind of had to teach myself everything that I do and everything that I know. And when you grow up that way, it really gives you this sense of, why should I pay others to do the things that I can learn to do myself? And so when I started up this YouTube channel, the one thing I really love is that I can now teach other people to do the things that I have had to figure out to do on my own, and save them a little bit of the trouble of having to learn how to do those things. And like I was saying earlier, it really gives me the opportunity to leave something behind for my kids. I saw somebody say that when I was researching and figuring out how to get all this set up and everything going, how to edit video and stuff to make YouTube videos. There was a gentleman that said, this is my way of leaving something behind for my kids so that if something happens to me, they've got something to look back on in the future. And one, enjoy my presence, but two, I also get to teach them the things that I never got a chance to teach them. So growing up without a father and him passing when I was young, I know it would have been an awesome tool for him to have back then, but that wasn't available then, and it is available now, so taking advantage of it. Let's get this all cut out. Get our extras here cut off. Like any other professional upholsterer, I'm just using a good old Milwaukee razor blade pocket knife. I'm sure that's what everybody in the upholstery industry uses, right? Hopefully nobody that's into upholstery pops in here while I'm doing this, because they're going to be like, oh God, who is this guy? Who's this guy and why is he butchering this stool? Got a gentleman that I started following a couple weeks ago that does leather work, and the stuff he makes is gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. He was on there making, belts and wallets and different knife holders, different, knife carriers for your belts. Really cool stuff to watch. Especially when it's live, so you can actually converse with them and chat back and forth. Exactly right. Yeah, the thought of YouTube. I've met a few people that, they really think that YouTube is a waste of time. They don't, I guess, understand what YouTube is. It is a lot of dumb, right? It is a lot of like brain rot kind of activity and people just being loud, being extravagant. But there's also another huge side of it that's educational. It's motivational. And I really love spending my time with those people that are doing those things. So I think YouTube is a great place to be. I think it's going to be even bigger in the future. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's, pretty much just in every person's house and a part of their daily lives. I'm going to put a few extra staples in here. Just because they're already in the staple gun, so why not? anywhere that looks like it could come loose, we're just gonna kind of double up here. Right like that. So now we've got our stool seat. That looks pretty nice to me. Did a love seat once, like an upholstered love seat. That's pretty cool. That's a big project. That is a big project. Did I have screws down in here? We might have made a boo-boo. We might have to drill a hole through our leather, which will be fine because we'll just put staples around it. But I think there's a bolt hole underneath our leather. Let's grab the frame and find out. Oh. Used to see leather shirts. Yeah, leather, unfortunately, I think, is one of those things that's just kind of dying out with time now. And I think leather products are awesome. I think the guys that make those products are even more awesome. Let's see, so we go this way. So this goes over here like that. And then how did this mount? How did this thing work? Surely it wasn't like this, right? How would that even... That wouldn't work. Was it this way? I don't even remember how this thing went together. No, because those don't line up. So it does go this way. We'll figure it out here. It goes like this. It has to open this way. Did it go like this? Aha! We might have got it. Like this. There we go. Look at that. Look at us go. We do need to open up our leather here to be able to get through it. So let's get our brackets on here. Sorry, I'm ignoring the chat right now. I'm trying to figure out how this went back together. So this centers up here. We can go right like that, right like that. And then our holes are going to be, see if we can mark out where these are going to be. Right about there and right about there. So let's set our brackets aside and let's set this the way that we know that it's going to go, right like that. Make a hole, don't screw through it. Yeah, I'm going to actually cut the hole out for where our bolt goes in. That way it doesn't catch on that leather and make a mess of it. So I've got marked here where our holes need to be. So let's cut this back out and find our holes again. put this in here 3 layers thick so that I knew that I wouldn't have to worry about the material being too thin. It's fake leather and it's material backed, and it's pretty darn thin. There's our hole on this side. That should work out perfect. I found the hole. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's down in there. Now we've got this side that we marked. So let's get this side cut out. See what we look like here. There's our hole there for this side. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I have no clue what is going on right now. You can call me a carpenter. You can call me a plumber. You can call me an electrician. You can call me a mechanic. I've done a little bit of everything over the years, but upholstering is not one of those things. Now, I at least have some kind of knowledge of how to, you know, neatly stretch material over a round curved surface like that. So that's pretty cool. So let's get this put back together here. Let's see. I had to grab an extra screw too because one of my screws were missing when I got this thing, which is probably why they ended up giving it to Goodwill. So, you know, lucky for me, they did that so that I could acquire it and I could put some use to it instead of it just going into a landfill. Let's get rid of this scrap leather that we've got here. Oh yeah, we were going to put a couple staples back in this where those cutouts were. Let me get that. That way I don't forget. There we go. I'll get this put up. Get our screws put in for this here. Welcome in, guys, welcome in. Anybody that isn't subscribed needs to first hit the like button on the stream and then click on my channel and go subscribe to the channel. The number that you see up top right here, that is actually a live subscriber count. So anyone that's not subscribed that subscribes to the channel, that number will go up just for you. Working on getting over a cold. I think I'm finally starting to get there. Been sick for about 5 days. chair put together so I can get on to some Christmas videos this afternoon. Really excited. I've got a few different projects that I'm gonna make this week of some Christmas decorations that people can make as gifts, or they can make them to sell. Got a couple things that I found here on YouTube, but I've also got a couple that I came up with personally that I know aren't anywhere because I just came up with them in my head. So I'm excited, one, to try them out and see if I can make them work, but also two, to be able to show other people how to make those things, because I think they'll be very profitable items once they're said and done. So make sure you check out the channel. Should have one on tonight. I'm gonna try and have a new video up every day this week. We'll see how that plays out. Hoping that this chair is nice and sturdy. Missing a screw. I didn't try it out before. So the first time I sit on it's gonna be live here. So either it's gonna work, or, you know, I made sure to skip my lunch so that hopefully I don't collapse the thing when I sit down on it. But now, you can see, so it's a stool, right? It's a stool, and then you can also fold it up so that it'll just set up against the wall. So when I want to put it away, I can just tuck it back in a corner somewhere. And when you get it out, folds right back into a stool like that. Let's try it out. See if it doesn't explode once I sit on it. My space back here is a little limited. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. That is very nice. I didn't have a place to sit out here, so now I have a place to sit. You know, I can sit down and work. While you guys are chatting in the stream, if I don't have anything to work on, I'll actually be able to just go live and sit and hang out with everybody and just chat back and forth. So that worked out pretty nice. I really like it. But I'm going to, what time is it? After 1, I'm going to grab myself something for lunch. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody that liked the stream. It looks like we've got at least 15 people that popped in here today, which is phenomenal. I've only went live a handful of times. I'm working with a completely new setup. So it seems like everything is up and running now. I'll make sure that we're live more often so that you can pay attention to everything that I'm making in my shop. A lot of client work, a lot of learning how to do things myself, and teaching everybody else the things that I already know. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody that tuned in to the live stream later on after we were live and checked out the VOD, leave me a comment down below. Let me know that you watched the video on demand after the stream. So thanks to everybody for hanging out. I'm gonna get this shop stool put up. We're gonna get geared up to make some Christmas decorations tonight, and I'll have at least one of those posted before this evening comes around. So I'll see everybody again. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys.